Welcome, everyone, to Living with the Times. We are looking at the current situation in Israel and for Jews all over the world and trying to connect it to the Torah portions that we have been reading. In last week's Parsha that we read on Shabbat, we read the incredible, profound, deep story of the binding of Yitzhak, Akedat Yitzchak. This is one of the most symbolic, archetypal, eternal stories in the entire Torah. Right now, we don't have the time to go into the great depths of this story, but it reverberates throughout Jewish history. It is relevant and current always. And it's a story of faith, determination, and sacrifice. And the story is much more than just what happened to Avram and Yitzchak. It is an archetypal story that relates to every generation. And here God asks and actually says, please, uses the word na, please take your son to the place that I will show you and offer him up there. It actually never says to sacrifice him, it says to offer him. And among the many commentaries, the many commentaries, what the test was, and this is the only test of the 10 that Avram had, that it actually says explicitly in the text that it was a test. The test was, would Avram be willing to offer up that which is most precious to him? And Avram shows that he is willing. Again, there's many, many different layers to this story. But Avram showed that he was willing to fulfill God's request to bring up his son as an offering. In the end, God did not want Avram to sacrifice Yitzhak. And intuitively, Avram knew this. And yet he understood the nature of the test was to show that he was willing. And so in the end, he did not have to offer up Yitzchak. Now, if we look at our situation today, we are thick into the war now. Our troops are in Gaza, and heartbreakingly, every day we read of more and more soldiers who are being killed in this war, a war that virtually everyone in Israel is convinced that we have really no choice, because just a few days ago, the representative of Hamas said openly, with no apparent shame and with no wanting to hide it. And he said, we will do this again and again and again. So the people of Israel know very well that we didn't ask for this war. We didn't ask for an enemy so full of hatred, but this is what we have to deal with. And so we can make a comparison that here we have all these young people. Most of the soldiers who are dying are between 18 and 24 years old. And it's in Hebrew, when a soldier dies, they're called a korban. They're called a sacrifice. And if we look at all of Jewish history, because of our faith in who we are and what our mission is, our faith in God, our faith in our connection to the Torah and to the land of Israel, our faith in the unity and the oneness of the Jewish people. So we are constantly being called upon to express our faith in willingness to give up that which is most precious to us, our own lives and the lives of our children. And so here at this point, we turn to Hashem and we plead that you show compassion to your people who have shown their faith, have shown they're willing to sacrifice. The Midrash says that after the angel comes and says, don't lay a hand on him, now God sees that you have awe and fear of God. You're a God-fearing person. Here, fear is in the positive sense. And Avram turns to God and says, until now, I haven't said anything. I was willing to go through this. And now that I have, please commit at any time your children, my children, need compassion, that you will remember this day and will have compassion on your children. So we turn to Hashem and ask, please remember Akedat Yitzchak, and remember right now how many families are willing, because we have no choice, to send our children to defend us. And all the young people who rushed to volunteer, who rushed to go to the front to defend what they know is the most precious thing to us, is to continue our tradition, continue living in Eretz Yisrael, and ultimately, the whole Jewish people know that our mission is to bring light into the world. And so, call it paradoxically or ironically, the greatest light that we could bring in the world right now is to put into living effect the words, never again. Never again can we allow the barbarism that happened on Simchas Torah. And the whole world, hopefully, will gain from our standing up to this evil, standing up to this darkness, and to bring true light to the world. Avram named the place where the Akedah happened Hashem Yireh, that God sees. God saw what Avram was willing to do. And so now we also ask, God, see what's happening in Israel and come to our aid. I ask everyone in your own way to continue to pray for the safety of our soldiers, the safety for our civilians, and the safety of Jews all over the world where anti-Semitism and hatred is like boiling. That God, please protect us and see our faith and our sacrifice, and let it be to bring full redemption to the world.